The Lesson of the Fire, Chapter 4. The Promise is the Same. My guardians are angels who aid in protecting me. The anonymous queen, who is the blessed Virgin Mary. I have an army on earth as in heaven. This is what my owl tells me. This gives me magic powers that I use to help make me more powerful as I am the Great Awakening. When the world knows the truth, it will illuminate and save the world. First, I must save the children. This is my most powerful delusion, and it's nothing to fear. Building for some Building for everyone to understand my delusions. My guardians are the foundation for Dream World. My guardians are a delusion. I play with my delusions, giving them faces and assignments. Over the years, I made an army of angels to help me. When I pray, I know who is listening. The guardians saved me from the shadows. They aren't typical angels. They are just as I remember them, dancing around fires, smoking packs of cigarettes with the beer of choice, loud Catholics getting it as accurate for them getting it as accurate for them to come to life. Bringing them to life in film is the goal. Doing this gave my writing depth. My Uncle Jim was the hardest death on me. Other than my mom and my fire buddy, there were a lot of days if Uncle Jim was here, asking myself what would he do? What I did was write him alive. If he was here, he would not allow me to give up. Failure is just a lesson. He pulled us out of our rut. When he died, the 21 gun salute, I withered into my mom's chest. My mind likely split at this time. Going to grief counseling at Washington School. When I was in the third grade, today I miss him more, understanding the effect of his death had on our family. If my life was a movie, my Uncle Jim, who's a guardian, would be played by The Rock. In the Becoming series I wrote, The Rock needs to be in my movies. I'm having trouble placing the who. I'm going to think about it. The Rock being my Uncle Jim. He is a staple in my guardians in my galaxy. The angels that ride a magic school bus in heaven, helping me find Jesse in my mind. He was a huge guy that was a high-ranking Navy. He died from a heart attack a few years after his sister died. That was Gail. The entire family all died from heart related issues within 10 years' time. When I wrote the Becoming series, I was worse than I have been and when it comes to my mind. My delusions were the worst they've been. Most of my books are written in a cycle. My cycle: October, start to get depressed. November, full on depression with delusions. December, enter psychosis. January, new year, new manic me. The rest of the months I'm fine. It's truly seasonal affective disorder, except it's more powerful, making it schizoaffective disorder. The difference is delusions and hallucinations. All my hallucinations and delusions are documented in vivid detail. My guardians in my galaxy trying to write heaven on earth. This was separate from my seasonal affective disorder. This what this would separate This is what separates me from my seasonal affective disorder into schizoaffective disorder. Cognitively, I believe that something ordinary is special and personal to me. Throughout the books, I thought Jesse had the whole world singing to me. He was going to ask me to marry him, and this is why I write to him through my computer. I believed he was in my computer and he was reading what I wrote to help make all my dreams come true. This then he broke out with me he broke up with me in the radio around the time I wrote this section. That is the Becoming series. My guardians are trying to bring Jesse and I together. Most of the series I call him my old friend. This is because of X-Men. I'm the professor and he is Magneto. When we played pretend as kids, usually comic book characters. He had become my invisible friend. I talked to him out loud because he was always listening, helping me take over the world with my powers. I'm the Blessed Mary, and he is to help me. Why is this? Is because he is the Knights Templar. This was always a childhood game. Our childhood games, inside jokes, and movies we watched, all those things are powerful delusions. What I do is right, as if I'm talking to him or my guardians. This is throughout the series. Back to the Becoming series. So, first, my mom's grandma in the late 80s, then November 24th, 1988, my birthday a year prior, then 1994, and it's my mom's grandpa, then 1998, and then 1999, both my Uncle Jim and Brenny, or 1999, both my Uncle Jim and Brenny. This small paragraph is why my mom is so sad. When I found her picture albums, there was so much love and understand the life I have lived and hope to give me her childhood. She tried and could not, and all those people in those pictures I never seen before. There was a lot of joy, which my grief storm and losing my mom to her grief cloud of losing her entire family in 10 years' time. And she gave me a great childhood update. Jim was a big force of nature uncle. That our life went gray when he died. It was the month in my life that set fire to my childhood. Before that, it was pools, trips, hikes, and fun. After that, it was pills, fights, and abuse. He was the person to keep us all stable and smiling. After he died, didn't hang out as after he died, we didn't hang out as much, and there was less barbecues and no more pool parties. The best and worst times in my childhood present in my psychosis. Understanding psychosis is helpful. Psychosis, a severe mental condition in which thought and emotions are so effective that contact is lost with external reality. My psychosis lasted for 3 years. My external reality didn't exist anymore, only my psychosis. My psychosis was my reality. My delusions were my reality. My disconnection with reality was what aided in destroying my life. It made it hard to think clearly, make decisions, and according to the Mayo Clinic, a psychosis, a mental disorder characterized by disconnection from reality. A psychosis may occur because of psychiatric illness like schizophrenia. In other instances, it may be caused by health conditions, medications, or drug use. Possible symptoms include delusions, hallucinations, talking incoherently, and agnition. I can't say that word. The person with this condition usually is aware of his or her behavior.
Agitation.
Agitation. Whoops. The treatment may include medication and talk therapy. The amount of grief as a child, playing pretend, forged a current inside of my mind. Growing up, continuous grief and hardship. I developed coping mechanisms to combat my psychosis. To me, psychosis is reality. People just don't get it, I think to myself. This protects what I've grown used to. In the Becoming series, I described the level of loss. I tried to get the reader to understand why I am the way I am. Next chapter, chapter 5. Is it over now? It's never over. My painful